My name is Amit Sangekar. मेरा नाम है अमित सांगेकर. माझं नाव आहे अमित सांगेकर. And welcome to Poetry Reading Session. Reading with you, Poetry Reading Session number 13. It's nice to see you all. I hope everyone is having a lovely Sunday or has had in lands where it is always a dinner time, already dinner time. And I hope you have had some good time with your families. I'll start off with a poem by Robert Frost. The title of the poem is Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. Robert Frost, an American poet, this is one of his more simpler creations. He's always been known for longer poems and a bit more complicated poems at times. This one was written in around 1922, if I'm not mistaken, and it was kind of a moment of inspiration for the poet himself. So here goes: Stopping by woods on a snowy evening. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near. Between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. The last verse and about the last three lines have particularly become famous across the world and have been quoted by a large number of leaders in some of their speeches. And miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. That's the kind of impact Robert Frost's writing has had on people. And I can imagine why. He puts things at times so simply that you really have to look at in terms of how life could be lived in a very simple manner. So now, if I have my friend here already, I am going to ask her to join, and let's see if I can get her to join. I've sent the request. She is, as I've always called her, my partner in crime in all these sessions. Hi, Preeti.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. I like this idea of yours of getting all this how should I put it? Your background changed once in a while.
Changing.
I think I
Yes,
also need to start doing it in some time.
you're doing it. You're already
Huh?
doing it. You're already doing it. It's a different background today.
Okay. Anyways, let me just try and see if I just want to know if everybody else. Hi Chaitali. Hi everyone else. If you can hear me clearly, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So, what do you have for? Anyways, before that, Preeti has been busy cooking up a storm in her kitchen of the entire thing. So she, in fact, ventured into making pasta on her, literally making pasta on her own with a new pasta machine. If I'm not wrong. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then
And
she went on to move some more exotic stuff. A beetroot burger. Oh my god, that burger looked very delicious. Okay.
yeah, I mean, the whole burger to start with, sorry, the pasta to start with was a disaster, but then today was okay. Today was
Okay.
okay. But
Cool.
thanks to you, Amit, the interior Maharashtrian recipe that you gave me was awesome. Really good, really good.
Cool.
And like, I don't know if everybody knows, but Amit and I bonded over food more than over college subjects. So I guess that liking for food is always going to be there.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Yeah. Is my voice echoing or is it okay?
I think it's for me. It's fine.
Okay. I don't know. I just feel echoing, but that should be fine. Okay. So today being the 13th, I didn't realize we are on session 13 already.
Yep,
That's really
13.
Yeah, come a long way. So I was thinking what to do today, and I thought, given that mindfulness and meditation is like all the buzzwords in the current scenario, I thought I'd pick up some of the poetries that are used in mindfulness and meditation sessions. And mindfulness, even though it's a buzzword now, it has existed for years on because it's all about knowing yourself. It's about knowing your feelings, which has been going on for centuries and centuries through any form of art. Music, your creativity, any poetry. Just reading out the poetry, sometimes the words of other poets
Right.
evokes certain feelings within us that we can connect to, and I think that itself is relates to what mindfulness is all about. So the
Preeti, before you start, I think a
yeah,
couple of people have said there is a slight echo. Are you on headphones or are you out of your? Are you just on?
no, I'm just normal on speaker.
Okay.
Maybe I use my volume. I don't know if it's the volume. Is it better now? Or it's still the same?
So for me, I think you are hearing the right sound which you are getting at your end, which is right because I am not getting an echo, but I don't trust my technology today, especially today. But
Okay.
go ahead.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I can still I can still hear the echo, but that's okay. So the first poetry I'm going to read is by Rumi. I mean, Rumi is a 13th century Persian poet. He's probably one of the most popular poets. There are a lot of quotes that are done by him. He's probably one of the best selling poets as well. And even though he wrote in Persian, I think occasionally he also wrote in like Turkish, Arabic, and Greek. So some of his verses are from those languages. And I guess the beauty of the Rumi poetry is it sometimes shows us the meaning of life. It sometimes is written in very mystical ways, and the choice of words that he uses is quite effective in
Right.
conveying. So the poetry I'm going to read is actually translated by a poet, Coleman Barks. He himself was a poet who was influenced by Wordsworth, but then he calls himself an apprentice of Rumi. He calls himself an apprentice of the master,
Okay.
and he has translated pretty much dozens of volumes of what Rumi has written. So the poetry is called The Guest House. It's by Rumi, translated by Coleman Barks. This being human is a guest house. Every morning is a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they are a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house, empty of its furniture. Still, treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice. Meet them at the door, laughing, and invite them in. Be grateful for whatever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond.
Wow.
So I think it's a
Preeti,
very
the
beautiful
part
way.
about the emptying of furniture, could you just say those couple of
Yeah.
lines again?
Yeah, sure. So I'll start with the joy because I think that's like really a beautiful starting of that whole phrase. A joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they are a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house, empty of its furniture. Still, treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight.
Brilliant. Very nice
Yeah, it's
words.
such a beautifully written poetry because, and I think it helps us to realize that whatever we may be going through in our lives, whatever feelings we have, we are, whatever phase we are in life, just remember that they all teach us a lesson and they all path, give you a path for something new going forward. So it's
Nice.
quite a yeah, it's quite a good lesson. So I was torn between selecting the second poetry. So first was very clear. I wanted Rumi, and there were two other poetries that was under contention for the second one. I'll read. I'll read. I'll read one, and then maybe we'll have another session to have the other one.
Sure.
We'll see how. Yeah. So this poetry, so leading into the whole segue from about your life and the meaning of life, this poetry is written by Portia Nelson. She was a singer and a songwriter from 1920s up until 1960s.
Okay.
She was very famous in 1950s cabaret as a soprano artist. She was quite famous as a songwriter and as a soprano artist at that time. And she was a cancer survivor, and during her time
Awesome.
through that period, she wrote a book um, called the hole. There is a hole in my sidewalk, which actually turned into an off Broadway musical theater in Manhattan. So one of those poems within that book is has become very popular and
Okay.
is pretty used by most of the motivational speakers throughout the world, and they're used by in your self-help and recovery modes.
Right.
And unfortunately, Portia Nelson is very often not credited for this poetry.
True.
So I thought this is like a good opportunity to read out this and give her the credit that she deserves. So the poetry is called Autobiography in 5 short chapters.
Mm-hmm.
Chapter 1. I walked down the street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I fall in. I am lost. I'm helpless. It isn't my fault. It takes me forever to find a way out. Chapter 2. I walk down the same street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I pretend I don't see it. I fall in again. I can't believe I'm in the same place. But it isn't my fault. It still takes a long time to get out. Chapter 3. The same street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I see it is there. I still fall in. It's a habit. My eyes are open. I know where I am. It is my fault. I get out immediately. Chapter 4. I walk down the same street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I walk around it. Chapter 5. I walk down another street.
Wow.
Such a it's
Super.
again it's such a beautiful poetry in terms of what it, I guess, conveys to us, that sometimes we get lost in the same habits, and we get lost in our same way of living and same
Correct.
um, yeah, and it sometimes gives us some perspective that we may need to do something different. So,
I agree with you completely. And as you said about some of the Persian poets not getting their dues in the poetry in the poets section, I think and Rumi becoming a kind of a household name in
yeah,
contradiction to everyone, because I have the first time somebody put up a quote by Rumi, I think many years back. I didn't really understand what is this Rumi thing, and then I
mm,
went and read back about Rumi. I understand people may be quoting random quotes, and they seem to be literally just out of the simple life which you get it. But Rumi during those times had actually written them down in a manner where
yeah.
people could understand them so beautifully.
Exactly, exactly. And just the words that he uses, it's really mystical. And like you said, unfortunately, because there are so many other Persian poets, but then I guess
Yeah.
Rumi became a very popular poet because his works were translated like crazily. I've been trying to find good translations of this other Persian poet called Hafiz, and unfortunately, there aren't many good.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to find out, but then, like you said, Rumi is widely translated in English, and so
Yes.
it's very easy to find so much of stuff about him, unlike other probably very
In
good
fact, there was
Persian.
one of our readers some time back who had listeners who had said, "Would it be possible for you to read out Farsi poems?" I said, we could try, but I don't think we'll do justice to the pronunciations of those Farsi words unless
Correct.
somebody who has learned Farsi really
Mm.
as growing up or something.
Yeah, true, true, very true. Yeah.
Good.
Mm.
Anyways,
Yeah.
Preeti, thank you so much as
Thank
always. And thank you for bearing me for 13 episodes till now.
No, it's such a pleasure. It's such a pleasure. Like I said at the beginning, the even just listening to someone else reading a poetry or even reading a poetry is mindfulness. It
True.
just it is meditation in its own way. And I think it's amazing what you're trying to do, Amit, with all this, just keeping people safe, keeping people happy. So
Good.
it's
Anyways, Preeti, you have a lovely rest of the Sunday. I have a very surprise guest after this who has been peeking her head from here in some time or the other. And I'll call her on stage. On stage, I'm literally anchoring a co-poem now, so not on stage, on screen.
you're
But
already
thank you so much, and you have a lovely rest of the week ahead, and have fun. Stay safe.
thank you. See you.
Okay, everyone. So that was Preeti from Sydney, Australia. I, we have somebody who is very excited to be on screen here. Let her age not fool you with saying that she must be, oh my god, so sweet and all. So, people, please welcome my 10-year-old niece, Ira. Ira, you have to appear. So that is Ira. That's Ira. And she is. Oops. Somebody says they can't hear me. Can you still hear me? Preeti says she can't. Rashmi, if you're around. Chetali, if you're around. Ritika, can you hear us or hear me? Oops. We'll just wait for somebody to come. Ritika, can you hear us? Me? Okay, great. Sangamitra can hear. Perfect. Good. So this is Ira. Ira is supposed to be 10 years old. I don't know. She does not tell me the truth most of the times. But she is a brilliant. She draws very well. She is also good at drama. She's learning monologues and dialogues, and she has something, and she is extremely fond of dogs. She would give up everything in this world to be with dogs, and I presume she has something to read to us today, which is also about dogs. Am I right?
Yeah.
Good. So you need to be loud and clear to all of them. Okay? Do you want to say hi to them
Hi.
loudly?
Hi.
Yeah. Good. Go ahead, Ira. What do you have?
Dogs. Big and small, short and tall. We can't help but love them all. Who picks who? We will never know. But there's always something that says, take me home. Then you arrive, this bundle of fluff. We ooh and ah, we cuddle and fuss. You are cute and cheeky. You bark, play, pee and chew till you're sleepy. And that's when you realize our home is your name. And right from the start, that moment we first met you, you had stolen our heart.
So, you wrote that. She's actually written that, and I know you won't be able to make out since it appears the other way around on the screen. But she has actually written these words, and I'm totally amazed that at this age, when I don't know if we could write even a couple of lines beyond what we were taught in textbooks. She's amazing. She puts down stuff into writing, into drawing in so many different ways, and I'm very proud of her.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you very much, Ira. Thank you for sharing your poem with us, and I hope you share more poems with us going ahead because we enjoy having you.
Thank you.
Okay. So that's Ira, and I'm going to say to Ira, you have to say bye to everyone now so that we can continue with our session. Okay.
Bye.
So that is Ira. That was Ira. See, she's still popping. Look at this. She's still popping her head. Yeah, that's what she keeps doing. See, she loves being on stage, and I can understand why. But she's good. She's very good. I have seen her. Being on stage in a performance, and she's really nice. So okay, so that was Preeti and Ira, and Sorry about the technical glitch at the beginning once again. It was kind of. I have one more poem, though I'm going to see if it is too long. And yeah, I think. Okay, let's try this. This is a Marathi poem. This is a Marathi poem by the famous Mangesh Padgoankar. I'll try and translate it in between as I go along. So it goes like this. The title of the poem is Korya Korya Kagdavar, which means on blank paper. कोऱ्या कोऱ्या कागदावर असलं जरी छापलं, ओठांवर आल्याखेरीज गाणं नसतं आपलं. So what the poet is trying to say here is, even if you write something on a blank piece of paper, unless it comes to your lips, it is not a song. It is not your song till then. ती मनात झुरते आहे, तुम्ही पाहत राहणार, कल्पनेच्या पावसात नुसतं नाहत राहणार. She feels something in her heart, and she looks at, and you'll keep looking at her. But in those dreams, how long will you be staying? मला सांगा व्हायचं कसं, मुक्कामाला जायचं कसं, घट्ट जवळ घेतल्याशिवाय माणूस नसतं आपलं. So how will you unless you reach your destination, how will things move ahead? And unless you have a big warm hug for that person, how will that person be yours? So I'll go with the lines again. घट्ट जवळ घेतल्याशिवाय माणूस नसतं आपलं, कोऱ्या कोऱ्या कागदावर असलं जरी छापलं, ओठांवर आल्याखेरीज गाणं नसतं आपलं. शब्द शब्द रीते शब्द त्यांचं काय करणार, तळफुटक्या माठामध्ये पाणी कसं भरणार. So just words, what are words, what are just words unless they form some kind of a poetry. He's literally comparing to a large flask which has a hole at the bottom, and how will you ever feel such a flask? मुक्कामाला मला सांगा व्हायचं कसं, मुक्कामाला जायचं कसं, आपण ओठ लावल्याखेरीज पाणी नसतं आपलं. So how, unless you reach the destination, how will things move ahead? So unless the glass of water literally touches your lips, that is not really your water. कोऱ्या कोऱ्या कागदावर असलं जरी छापलं, ओठांवर आल्याखेरीज गाणं नसतं आपलं. वा. करून करून हिशेब धूर्त, खूप काही मिळेल, पण फूल का फुलतं हे कसं कळेल. So even if you do a lot of calculations and all, you may get a lot of money, etc. But if you do not know why a flower blooms, then what is the use of everything around you? मला सांगा व्हायचं कसं, मुक्कामाला जायचं कसं, फुलपाखरू बनल्याखेरीज फूल नसतं आपलं, कोऱ्या कोऱ्या कागदावर असलं जरी छापलं. So unless that the thing becomes a butterfly, the flower is not really yours. मातीमध्ये बीजाला एकच अर्थ कळतो, कोंब फुटून आल्यावर हिरवा मोक्ष मिळतो. So a seed which is planted in the soil has only one meaning. Unless it comes out, the first sprouts comes out and it sees the greenery all around, that's when it gets nirvana. So मातीमध्ये बीजाला एकच अर्थ कळतो, कोंब फुटून आल्यावर हिरवा मोक्ष मिळतो. मला सांगा व्हायचं कसं, मुक्कामाला जायचं कसं, आतून भिजल्याखेरीज रुजणं नसतं आपलं, कोऱ्या कोऱ्या कागदावर असलं जरी छापलं, ओठांवर आल्याखेरीज गाणं नसतं आपलं. These are the words of Mangesh Padgoankar, and he speaks about how you must take that final step or reach that final destination to give a meaning to this entire journey. Once you have reached the destination is when that entire journey becomes meaningful. Mangesh Padgoankar, as always, puts things in perspective in extremely beautiful ways. His writings have always been an inspiration to a lot of people in the Marathi literary circles. And beyond that also, he has been literally, how should I put, an inspiration, a guiding force to a lot of poets too. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Once again, apologies for the technical issue at the start. But as always, it's been a pleasure bringing this to you. It's been Rashmi. Thank you so much. You have been one of the loyal listeners for a very long time. There's Ritika. There is Jaideep. There is Preeti, as always, whom I keep dragging everywhere. And thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. And hopefully, you have a lovely week ahead. Please take care of yourself. Stay safe. This is Amit Sangekar signing off from Reading with You, Poetry Reading Session number 13. Take care. Bye.